All right, welcome back. Last time, I introduced some very primitive graphics capabilities, rendering some texts and changing the colors. Today, I want to show you how to put a simple box on the screen. And we're also going to introduce something called functions and for loops, but we won't go too deep into those. Just want to give you a taste, and we'll revisit in more detail later. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, as you learned in episode 1, you'll need to open your Chrome app first and then go to about blank in the URL, which gives us a nice clean place to work. Then you want to right click in the middle of your screen, which brings up this menu, and go to inspect to bring up DevTools, which is where we'll be working today. Notice that it put us in the Elements tab. Now the Elements tells you what's in the rendered page above. When I hover over the body tag, the blue part is the body. And when I hover over the HTML tag, the blue part is HTML tag. HTML tag is sort of like the document, if you remember. Let me show you. If I type document, that's like everything. That's the same as the HTML tag. And the body is inside of the document. So if I type document.body, you'll see that there's an orange border and then the blue was the body. Now I want to teach you how to render a simple box in the browser. So let's call it box. Box equals document.createElements and then left parenthesis and the string div, div. Now what that does, a div is a box, or a square, rectangle, something like that. Now we can say what we want it to look like. So we'll say box.style.width equals 10 pixels. That's like 10 little dots on the screen. Box.style.height equals 10 pixels, also a string. I don't see anything though. Let's put a border on it. Let's give it a solid border. I still don't see anything. Because we need to add it to the body. So we say body.appendChild and then box. Press enter or return. And if you look up there, there's a little box. So with 4 lines of code we created a box. Well, that's a lot of work just for one little box. Okay, I want to introduce you to something else new called a function. We can actually teach the computer how to do things. We're going to teach it how to add a box. This is going to make things easier for us later. So you say function, space, add box, left parenthesis, right parenthesis, and then an open brace. Brace is over the quote key. Now we're going to put in the instructions for creating the box that we did just a minute ago. Also, we're pressing shift return instead of just return. And shift return allows us to go to the next line without executing the change, without running the code. Okay, so we created our box, or we assigned document.createElement div to the box variable. And then we append the box to the body. Almost forgot to style it. We'll set the width and the height, and we'll give it a border. If you don't do these things, the box will be invisible. It needs at least a width, a height, and a border to be visible. Okay, now we need an end brace, and that's our function. We've taught the computer how to do something, except it's not doing anything. There's something wrong with this code. Did you see what I did wrong? Okay, I forgot to put the word style in. You can't say box.width. You got to say box.style.width. Same with the other things. Okay, so now when I run it, look at that. There's a second box. I'll run it again and again and again. Look, I just have to run one line of code now. I don't have to run 5 lines of code because we taught the computer how to make a box. Let's make it a little bigger. How about 40 pixels? Look at that. So all I did is I pressed the up arrow to get back to my function definition. Then I changed it from 10 to 40, pressed enter, and ran the same add box again. But what if I wanted to create a bunch of boxes? So that's where we use the for loop. You say for, and then you pick a variable name, like usually we use I. We set it to 0, and we're going to increment it. We're going to add to it repeatedly until it hits 3, and I++ means just add 1 every time. So now everything between the open brace and the close brace is what will happen. So we're going to add box 3 times. This is like confusing. Don't worry. We're going to go into this in more depth in the next session. And now you see that I added 3 more boxes just with one for loop. I want to encourage you, don't just watch these videos unless this is super easy stuff for you. If there's something that you see here that you don't understand, pause it and try it on your own, or go back and watch it a few times. We will cover this stuff more in depth, but it doesn't hurt to play with it now. And if you can't figure out how to make it work, it's not a problem. We'll be doing a lot of stuff like this, a lot of repetition. You'll get it eventually. So I've introduced you to several new things today just to get you interested and get you thinking. We'll go into more depth later. Thanks for watching.